My name is Alan Bracken, and we're continuing our theme, Extraordinary Success. What does it take to be extraordinarily successful? We've looked at this as a tip: tenacity, intentionality, and purpose. We talked about tenacity, and now we're in the discussion of intentionality. This is part 2 on intentionality, and we've defined intentional as the act of being deliberate. What areas in our life are we going to be deliberate in order to attain extraordinary success? We've said that 4 steps can help us be intentional. The first being define your preferred future. What are your future hopes and dreams in the area you want to be intentional in? Secondly, assess reality. Where are you now? The third step is to take action, have a plan, and the fourth, be accountable. In this session, we're going to talk about assessing reality. If we don't know where we are, it's going to be very difficult to get to where we want to go. This is an important part, and in my life, I have had to get outside help and perspective in this area. I find that this is a problem in so many people's lives. They don't assess reality, and so they do the same thing over and over again, and we know what that is. That's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Albert Einstein quote I'm sure we're all familiar with. And so getting help and getting perspective on reality. Let me tell you a story about a time that I did not properly assess reality. This is a picture of an ultralight. Now, it's a little different than the ultralight that I purchased the day I about killed myself. This one's a little nicer, by the way. But one day I walked outside and I said, hey, I would like to fly today. So I got a paper and I found an ultralight that was for sale, and it was a Saturday. I called the guy and I called my brother and I said, let's go buy this ultralight. And before I went, I tore down a fence and I took my road grader and leveled a place that I thought that I could land it in. So in my mind, I had assessed reality. I can bring this ultralight and I can land it right here. I went up and the guy pulled it out. He made it look so easy. I'd never flown an ultralight. Now, I had taken a few lessons, but I did not have a license. I did not have any idea what I was doing. And the gentleman said, hey, watch this gauge. Don't let it get below 27 miles an hour or it has a tendency just to fall out of the sky. And the other thing is, when you land, make sure you keep some throttle in there because you don't have any way to steer it. And the only way to steer it is wind blowing through the rudder. I said, okay, no problem. I've got it. I thought I had it. I got down to where I was supposed to land, and everything looked different. I was 300 feet in the air, and I saw trees and power lines that I had not seen before, from that perspective, obviously. And I was thinking, this is not good. And I was convinced that I was about ready to die, and I circled until first of all, I didn't have any ear protection, so I about went deaf, and I kept circling until I was about to run out of fuel, and I was thinking, I have to land this before I get more scared than I am. I was already pretty nervous. The wind had picked up. I couldn't land where I thought I was going to land. And I realized, I did not properly assess reality. Well, long story short, I did get it landed in a different field, and I ripped the wheels off of it, but I survived without a scratch, thankfully. And that's an example of me not properly assessing reality and reflecting back on that. What should I have done? Well, one thing I could have done, and one thing I want to recommend, is get advice and help from trusted sources. I was not a trusted source in this area of flying an ultralight, because I had never flown one before and certainly never landed one before, and I didn't have a clue, basically. But if I would have asked someone that had flown an ultralight before if it was possible to land where I thought it was possible to land, they would have quickly assured me that no, in fact, Alan, it is not a good idea to land there. And thankfully, I survived that. But sometimes not getting help from a trusted source could cost you your life. And in life, and on this journey to becoming extraordinarily successful, I found it's just wise to ask the right people the right question to help assess where you are. I used to watch American Idol, and I remember hearing and seeing people come on that show that could not sing. And Simon Cowell very quickly helped them assess reality, the reality that they weren't any good at singing. If someone would have helped them assess reality before the show, they may have not had to go through such embarrassment in front of the whole country. And this is why this is so important, to get help in this area, because human as we are, we often do not see clearly. We are deceived often. I deceived myself into thinking that I could fly an ultralight and land it in a place that it wasn't really a good idea. It's possible to land there, but not a successful landing that you could take off from again. So it's very important to assess reality. So step one is to define that preferred future. What do we want it to look like? And then the second one is to assess reality. So here's the takeaway challenge question. What area have you chosen to be intentional about that you need to assess reality of where you are? You need to find out what area you're going to be intentional in, and you need to get some trusted sources to help you assess reality so that you can move toward being intentional and becoming extraordinarily successful.